Continue to track breaking news on News Channel 13 at 5. A massive explosion levels a building in downtown Pueblo. Eric Singer is there live. Eric?
Well, Heather, you can see it right behind me. Let me step out of the way. It is a horrific scene downtown in Pueblo. At 2 o'clock, this building exploded. It's the Branch Inn. Now, the number one effort for fire crews to find people inside. They did that, and also to keep their safety, because inside there may be some possible hazardous materials. As you can see behind me right now, there are still a lot of fire crews. There are still police officers. There are still paramedics. The search continues to make sure that everyone is out of there and everyone around here is safe. It could be felt for blocks. Now, earlier we had a chance to speak with Fire Chief Chris Riley. Let's listen to what he had to say.
A little after 2 o'clock today, the City of Pueblo Fire Department was called out to an absolutely devastating explosion fire situation at the corner of Union and C Street. The Branch Inn business was absolutely leveled. We had heavy fire encountered along with a collapse zone, possible hazardous materials. Firefighters immediately went into a full mode of life rescue operations. We were dealing with a building collapse. We're dealing with possible hazmat. We're dealing with heavy fire. Initially, we took 4 to 5 victims off of the scene to local hospitals via the ground ambulance. We had reports that there were people trapped in the rubble. We have extricated one person out of the rubble, a female patient. I'm not quite sure of the extent of her injuries. They appear to be quite critical. And the second female victim is still in the rubble. The firefighters are in the process of rescuing her. But in these kind of situations, the firefighters are at great risk themselves. They're taking all kinds of precautions with equipment, clothing, things like that to make sure that they're going to be safe for the extrication operation. Our number one priority right now is the life rescue effort of anybody that's inside of that rubble. That is our absolute number one focus right now. Firefighters have done an outstanding job extinguishing fire, handling a myriad of challenges, and we're doing the best we can to affect that life rescue effort. Absolutely the most challenging type of situations that we face in our profession. When you've got a building explosion of this magnitude, you've got people inside, you've got heavy fire, you've got debris everywhere, you've got possible hazardous material. So we're dealing with safety from kind of a two-prong effort in terms of our safety, so we can affect the rescue efforts, and of course the victims that are trapped inside. So we're triaging the incident constantly, updating things, and working with police department and local fire departments as best as we can.
Now, in situations like this, there are always unsung heroes you hear about after the fact. I had a chance to speak with one of those unsung heroes. Now, you see how horrific this was? There was a woman who works and has a store next to where that blew up. I want you to listen to what happened moments after the explosion and what she did.
Between 2 o'clock and 2:15, we heard a very loud explosion on Union. And actually, I thought it was a bomb that went off. I still don't know what it was exactly. When I came out of my store, I looked down the street, and there was just this huge dust of just smoke coming up in the air, and there was ashes just falling down. Now I know what 9/11 feels like. It was horrific. And there was a guy whose body came out of the glass flue when I was running down. I didn't run away from it. I ran toward it because I'm certified. I ran toward it, and there was a guy whose body flew out of the glass into the street, and it threw his body all the way out. And he was bloody, covered in soot, and then I ran to the back end, and there was like 2, maybe 3 other guys that we were all running into the Branch Inn before paramedics or police showed up. And we were pulling victims out. We pulled 2 guys out that we could see. And they were just covered in soot. They were all bloody, and it was horrid. It was just bad, very bad.
This is terrifying. How did you have that peace of mind to do all this?
My instinct, I went over and I thought there were people bloody and dying, and people are dead in there. That's all I thought, is everybody died. I looked at the smoke, I looked at the building, and it was demolished. So I figured, somebody's holding on to life, I've got to pull them out. That's all we thought.
So how many people did you pull out? We
did a total of 2 in the back end, and the one guy, his body just fell out of the window.
So did you
from the impact.
What you could tell, was he alive or dead?
He was alive. He was bloody and he was alive. So then I ran to the other end to see who was there, and there was like 2, 3 other guys, and we were just pulling them out by the back of their arms from inside the Branch Inn. They were in the middle of the soot and the fire and everything, and we were just pulling them out, 2 of them.
Lisa Galbraith, an unsung hero. I'm glad I had the chance to meet with her. And you know, this blast could be felt blocks away. There are so many people we spoke with because we've been tracking the story since the beginning. I want you to listen to someone else who heard it moments after the blast and how they reacted.
Well, I was just sitting back there having lunch, and it blew up, roofing material and glass, and then all of a sudden a large cloud of smoke came over into our side of the building by Seabells, and then about 10 minutes later you could see the flames coming up straight up out of the building, and this poor man, he came running out of the smoke, and he lay down in the street. It was terrible. It was the worst thing. I thought a bomb. I thought it was a bomb. It was so horrible.
It certainly was horrible, as you can see behind me. Now, News Channel 13's Joe Dominguez is here. He's been tracking the story since the very beginning. Joe, thanks. What exactly did you see when you got on here moments after the blast?
We saw the fire still raging at the Branch Inn. We also talked to a lot of people who were not even close to this location at the time of the explosion that were able to feel it. We talked to one person who was about a quarter mile away at the main library downtown.
And we felt the building shake. And the guy that helps you behind the desk there, he even said, "Did you feel it?" I said, "Yeah." And then he came running out towards the window, and we looked, and we saw the black smoke just coming up out of everywhere. And she was in the bathroom at the time. She even said it flushed all the toilets, those sensors, just from the shake of the building.
And when you looked out of the window, what did you see?
We saw just tons of black smoke just rising up in the air, like a big old cloud of it.
Now, within the last 10 minutes, activity has picked up at that scene of the Branch Inn. As you can see, the fear is that there may be a seventh victim underneath that rubble. The fire department and some of the heavy rescue teams from Fort Carson Fire are actually on the scene. About 12 people just around the corner trying to get through some of that debris. The fire department was trying to get into that area to look for more people when they made the discovery that they could possibly have that seventh victim. And up to this point, they had only confirmed 6 victims, 2 of which were trapped, and both of those trapped victims actually in the building right next to the explosion. It took about 90 minutes to get both of them out. One person rushed to the hospital, but they were alert and talking with firefighters. The other person that was not alert was not able to talk with firefighters, and we do not know the condition of either those 2 trapped people in the explosion and also the 4 people who were taken off to the hospital from the scene immediately following that explosion. And of course, we want to bring Eric back into the fold here. That's the very latest from out here in the explosion scene, Eric.
All right, thank you very much, Joe, for keeping tabs on this story for us since the beginning. Now, we continue our live team coverage. Marshall Zellinger is on the phone right now. He's at Parkview Hospital because some of the victims have been taken there, as well as at St. Mary Corwin. Marshall, can you hear me?
Yes, Eric, I can. And to reiterate something that Joe just said, a lot of activity in the last 10 minutes. An ambulance just drove by here at Parkview Medical Center, and I've been talking with hospital staff, and we've learned, and I apologize if you've already said this, that in the last 10, 20 minutes, another victim has been found and pulled from the rubble, and we're not sure if they are being brought here to Parkview, and if that was the ambulance, or if they're being taken to St. Mary Corwin. 6 victims confirmed at Parkview Medical. We don't know names, conditions, sexes, anything like that. Too preliminary right now. Unconfirmed reports from the scene that 2 of the victims, one might have had a broken pelvis, one may be very seriously injured. Those are unconfirmed. Over at St. Mary Corwin, 1 confirmed victim there. I'm joined right now with Michelle Pulin from Parkview Medical Center. And what goes into the hospital in a time like this? How do you staff it and keep everybody around for this ambulance that could be the 7th victim?
What we do is when we hear from AMR that we have an incident that's happened, we hold our staff. We start calling in additional staff if need be, if there are enough victims for that. Today we were fully staffed, had no problems. We didn't need to call in any additional staff.
And it seems that they are prepared just in case there are more victims being pulled. 6 confirmed at Parkview, 1 at St. Mary Corwin, and a possible 8th victim being taken to either of the hospitals. We'll keep you updated, Eric.
All right, thank you very much, Marshall. And of course, you at home know that we'll be here as long as it takes to make sure that you are safe. Obviously, the area around here to try to steer clear of. We'll be continuing to keep tabs on this situation. Of course, we'll be recapping throughout News Channel 13 at 5. And of course, on KRDO.com with the latest information. For now, though, reporting live, Eric Singer, News Channel 13.
Thank you, Eric, and our team of News Channel